Brought to you by Penguin.
The Woman in the Wood by Lesley Pearse. Read by Rosie Jones. Chapter 1. West London, 1960. Maisie was woken by a piercing scream. Startled, she sat up in bed, assuming the sound was coming from the street. But then she heard the cry for a second time and realized it was coming from inside the house. It was her mother. She rushed to her bedroom door and out onto the landing, then paused when she heard her father's voice travelling up from the floor below. "Be quiet, Lily. You'll wake the twins and frighten them. I'm doing this for your own good." Maisie's twin brother Duncan came out of his room and joined her at the top of the stairs. "What's going on?" he whispered. Maisie put a finger to her lips to silence him and held his arm so he wouldn't run down the stairs. Their father, Alistair Mitchum, was a stern man who didn't take kindly to any interference. "I don't want to go there! I'll get better in my own home!" Lily Mitchum cried out. "Don't make me go, Alistair!" The pitiful pleading brought tears to both Maisie and Duncan's eyes, but they were only 15 and a little afraid of their father, and they simply didn't know what to do. "How many times have I tried to get professional help for you? Each time you act the same way," Alistair said, and the children heard the weariness and resignation in his voice and exchanged anxious looks. "You aren't getting any better. Year by year you get worse. When did you last agree to go out of the house? I think that was 2 summers ago. You haven't even been downstairs for over a year." "But my back and legs," she protested. Alistair cut her short. "There is nothing wrong with your back or legs, and well you know it. You can't hide behind a riding accident from some 12 years ago any longer. I'm sick of this, Lily. The only way I know to get you to face up to what really ails you is to take you to this place. Now, calm down, or I'll get the nurse who's waiting outside in the ambulance to come in and give you a shot of something." Maisie had heard enough. Despite her fear of her father and reluctance to drag her brother into trouble with her, she caught hold of his hand and pulled him to the stairs. Encouraged by her bravery, Duncan didn't try to pull back. "Why are you sending Mother away?" Maisie asked when she was just a few steps above the first-floor landing. Her father wheeled round. He was fully dressed in a suit and clearly hadn't heard them coming on their bare feet. "This is nothing to do with you," he snapped. "Get back to bed, both of you." "She's our mother, so it has everything to do with us," Maisie retorted. "Where are you sending her? And why in the middle of the night? So the neighbours won't know? Or did you hope we wouldn't wake and you could make out she'd gone to stay with a relative for a holiday?" It was the first time Maisie had ever stood up to her father. While he wasn't a violent man, he was so stern and forbidding that she and Duncan always did as he said. Her heart was racing and she was trembling, but even so, she was determined to stick up for her mother. "Don't let him send me away to an asylum," their mother whimpered. "It's cruel and horrible. I want to stay here." Shocked as she was to hear of her father's plans, when Maisie looked at her mother, she realized why he was resorting to such drastic measures. Since she hadn't seen her mother's face clearly for many weeks, she hadn't been aware how much worse she had become. Her eyes were almost popping out of her head, and she was now so thin that the yellowish skin on her face appeared to be stretched over her cheekbones, with blue veins standing out on her forehead like thick crayon marks. Her brown hair was lank and greasy, and her nightgown was very grubby. It was absolutely clear she needed help. Right from when they were small children, the twins had grown used to their mother being in bed most of the time. They had always been taken to school by someone else, and she never took them for a day at the seaside,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?